Good afternoon, friends. Stephen Ben-Nun here with Israeli News Live on our Patreon channel. And I said I was going to share some videos here with you from different reports that I've listened to here recently. And so we're going to get into that right now. And this is one of the particular events that was shared with me. You can see on your screen here. I just had to use this image here to try to convey maybe a picture. Doesn't actually really do it justice here. But I was told about a Navy SEAL team that went to Ethiopia. And they went there because there was reports coming in from Ethiopia that these alien beings were coming in to the locals there and were saying that we were in big trouble, that there was a great need for them to find someone and bring them to them to discuss what the problem was and what we were about to be facing. And they were described as alien beings about 6 foot tall. They were covered like in a black cloak, kind of what you see like here, this one being a gray one here though. But they said you couldn't see their faces, you couldn't see their hands or anything. All you could see was the covering that they had there, and they would communicate via telepathy. Anyway, we sent in a Navy SEAL team there to go and check out the situation and see what was going on. And of course, as our government always does, we decided we would try to capture them while we were there. According to the report that I was being told about, and this was a report, by the way, that was confirmed by sources I have in the Pentagon there, that they are aware of this particular event, that the Navy SEALs, when they got there, these beings, they go outside of town. The locals had told them about where they would be able to run into them at. They go outside of town. They get about 2 miles outside of town, which was always kind of funny because Julius always says you get about 2 miles out, and that's when you always run into these creatures, right? But anyway, they got outside of town, and sure enough, one of these cloaked individuals happens to appear. And when they seen him, the commander, Julius there, he said, all right, guys, let's get into position. They were going to capture this guy. And then one of his guys that he was talking to on the radio hears in his head, we come in peace, we mean you no harm, do not try to capture us. And he radios back to Julius and he says, look, he says, this alien just said to me, they're coming in peace, don't try to capture them. So he radios back and he says, what, is a guy standing there beside you or something? He said, no. He said, look, he said, I don't care what he says. Our job is to bring one of these things back. And at that point, now the alien communicates in both their heads the same message. He said, look, we've come in peace. We mean you no harm. Do not try to capture us. And so they're both hearing it. And so Julius is like, okay, all right. So they move in a little closer. The being comes up a little closer, but he stays back, I think if I remember right, about 50 yards, and he still communicates telepathically. And he says to them, and at this point now he's communicating with the entire group. He says, we mean you no harm. If we wanted to kill you, we would have already killed you. But we come in peace, and we need to convey a message to you. We need you to follow us. So Julius does agree to go and follow them, and they go and they move with them slowly. And he said the alien was kind of interesting. He said he'd kind of shuffle his feet, and he said the next thing you know, boom, 100 yards forward. He had already been moved that fast. He said so it was a little bit of a job to keep up with him. And as they started coming into this, they came into this like little canyon area. Not like a tall canyon, said, you know, the size of the rock there were only about 40 foot tall. Julius says, look, guys, he said, stay alert. He radios to them. He says, stay alert. He said, if they're going to ambush us, this is a perfect place for them to ambush us at. I need 4 of you to go up, flank the sides of this canyon here just in case. Then they hear in their heads again, we mean you no harm. If we were going to ambush you, we would have already done it. If we wanted to kill you, we would have already killed you. But we come in peace. We only want to warn you of what's coming. At that point, they go down into the canyon. His men still went up onto the sides of the cliff there. And the next thing you know, this alien that's always been about 100 yards ahead of him suddenly is standing right there by Julius within about 5 feet of him. Scares the heebie-jeebies out of him. He said, I told you we come in peace. He said, I need you to follow me. Our leader wants to talk to you. And he said with that being said, he said, this alien being just walks right through the rock, right through the rock and just disappears. And Julius looks at his men. He takes a few of his guys. He said, look, either we're about to smash our face into this rock, or we're going to go through the rock like the alien did. And if we do, you know where we are. If something happens, you know what to do. So they stepped and they were able to walk right through the rock as well. And they ended up on the other side. And when they were there, he said, did not explain where they were, but they were somewhere. And as they got there, they said that the aliens that they were with told them, the leader said, you guys on this earth are in very serious danger. You have a planet called Nibiru that is coming, what we call Planet X many times. And on this planet is an alien creature that you will not be able to deal with. And they said, you already know about the reptilians that are living within the core of your earth. And you know how dangerous they are and how they mean you no good, only danger, and only want to kill human beings. Said, but these on this planet that are coming are much worse than they are and much larger than they are. And they will try to wipe out humanity. They said, we are able to avoid them. We know how to hide from them. But you don't. And we're here to warn you about what you're about to face. With that being said, after I heard about this particular encounter that the Navy SEALs had, I had a meeting with my own colleagues there, and I discussed with them this event. And of course, I was told, yes, it is true. We do this. We're very much aware of the report that was submitted on this case. One of the reasons why I was brought in on the Planet X issue, besides the Mayan document that spoke about what would happen when the planet came back around, this was the other issue. They knew they were going to be facing a war with them. I was told, though, also at that time that these particular beings here, there is a movie, and this is not an actual picture of them. This is from a comedy. I think it's something Galaxy. I forget the name of it. But I was told that what was really strange about the comedy is that they recreated what is called an Alpha Draconian. That the creation that they made for the movie was so eerily accurate that they must have had the intel from the government of what Alpha Draconians actually look like to be able to make this figure this accurate. The only difference was, in the movie, I think they make him about 6-7 foot tall, whereas in real life, they said that they're about 15 to 20 foot tall and weigh about 2,000 pounds. But this is supposedly what an Alpha Draconian would look like, or similar to that. Including the way the armor is on them, etc. Everything. They said it was just very strange that it was that accurate. I wanted to share that with you because I thought it was a fascinating insight to hear about. And of course, knowing some of the documentation that I found, and then of course reading in the book of Joel, as I told you before, Joel describes this army coming, where he said, like the horsemen, they're like the horse, they're big like a horse, but like a horseman on hind two legs they run. And I always talked about the reptilian being about like that size. But if these things are 15 to 20 foot tall, think about a horse itself, right? And let's let's just look real quick on that. Let's just, out of curiosity, horse standing on hind legs, right? Just think of how tall a horse actually is when he stands like that. A horse already, if he's just standing on his all four, you ever had a horse, I mean, or whether you have a horse or whatever, I don't know exactly, but when a horse, you're standing beside the horse is taller than you, right? He's maybe 7 foot tall. Well, imagine that horse standing up on his hind two legs. Now he's probably about, I don't know, 12 foot, 13, maybe 14 foot tall. That rascal's big, right? And then you think of the book of Joel, right? Let's just add a reminder here. And I know it's really crazy to think of, right? Joel chapter 2, when he talks about this army that's coming, the appearance of them is the appearance of horses, and as a horseman, so they run. The army is the appearance of horses. And as a horseman, so do they run. Well, the horseman runs on 2 legs. He doesn't run on 4, right? A fire devours before them. Behind them, the flame blazeth. The land is the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness, and nothing escapes them. Right? And their presence, the peoples are in anguish. All faces have gathered darkness. They run like mighty men. They climb the wall like men of war. They move on every one his own ways, and they entangle not their paths. Neither do they thrust another. They march every one in his highway. They break through the weapons and suffer no harm. That reminds me of the Navy SEALs that were battling those creatures that were like a flame of fire using explosive ordnance. It took 3 of them to take down one of those beings, and that's not even one of these. They leap upon the city, they run upon the wall, they climb up the houses, they enter in on the windows like a thief. Before them the earth quaketh, the heavens tremble, the sun, the moon are become black, and the stars withdraw their shining. That's what happens when Planet X comes through. And I know this is Yahweh's army that's coming, right? I mean, guys, you got to really think about this one here. Really think about it. I'll just leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. So, like I said, like a horseman, he runs like a horseman, though. 2 legs. So imagine a horse on the hind 2 legs. That'd be a big old joker coming, right? And then we know what the Alpha Draconians look like. They look like that. So that's what we're going to be facing. Anyway, got more things to share with you. I just wanted to put this one up for you real quick. And definitely, occasionally when I open up comments there on YouTube, you get some crazy comments out there. So most, I know everybody here on Patreon appreciate what we do here, but I do get under a lot of different time constraints trying to deal with other things that are popping up going on there. So I will get to the videos as soon as I can. I try not to forget those things, but I appreciate your patience with me in trying to do that. God bless you. Thank you. Have a great day.